Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Cheesadelphia number 2. My name is Jack Attack. With me is Drenok, and we are in the final stages of this tournament. Only 3 players remain.
Those 3 players, of course, are Intense, Kelazhur, and Huck. We have a best of 3, a TVT coming up for you, and it's going to be the difference between $300 and a possible $500. The loser of this will get away with $300, so they're in the money. They can pay for the plane ticket, whatever happened. They have come broken even.
Yep. And Huck has just been hanging out. I think he was pranking Desro earlier.
He's doing a lot of stuff.
He stole Desro's shoes for a while.
Funny thing is, Desro streams and plays without shoes, so like it could have been fine for him if he played the entire day. If he was in the finals right now, never would have noticed.
But if he has to leave, he's in big trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of big trouble, one of these 2 players is going to be in it quite soon. Spawning in the top right on Orbital Shipyard, it's the Blue Terran, Intense.
And his opponent, spawning in the bottom left, it is the Red Terran, Kelazhur. Representing Root Gaming. Got a couple Root guys here, and we got Flipside. We have just a multitude of North American teams, all represented, all cheering their boys on.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Just good luck for Huck.
Intense has already been like, I can't beat it. I've tried to convince him that he can do something for Kelazhur, but he doesn't believe. Sadly, he does not believe in himself enough. Yeah,
hashtag team tired. Intense apparently got to talk to him a little bit in between matches. Very, very exhausted right now. Diego, too, though, is dealing with the jet lag and stuff like that. So
dealing with it, but we have Intense who flew in at like 12 last night, got him at 12 last night, and then went to bed at maybe like 1 or 2. So he didn't get a full night's sleep, and we'll see how that affects him. But what's affecting Kelazhur?
Yeah, we're looking like the Kelazhur way. I pretty much have never seen Kelazhur play this map in any other build other than 2-Rack Reaper. It's always a 2-Rack Reaper. Sometimes a 3, but it's never this like, oh, I'm just going to open up macro. Not going to happen.
I think I remember talking to someone one time, like, what do you think about Kelazhur? And I was like, he's a cheesy man. And that was the answer. I was like, oh, wait, no, you're right. Yeah, he is a cheesy man. That's how you describe him. Kelazhur now opting for the 3rd Racks. He's going 3-Rack Reaper versus Intense's pretty safe play. Now, this is safe normally versus the kind of gimmicky things that can come, okay? You can get a factory, you get a starport, you get the Cyclone, the Viking, and you're set to defend these kind of random weird things, but not a full frontal attack.
He's got to be assuming 3-Rack Reaper at this point in time just because Kelazhur is so known for that. Intense knows that that is the most likely possibility. You can see he's continuing to build Reapers at home to sort of help him fight the enemy Reapers, and he's moving out with his scout right now. He's going to see the Reaper, but not too much. Nice. Pulling back for that.
Beautiful pull.
So many times I've seen Kelazhur get that first mine off, the other player not paying attention at just the wrong time. Intense very much on top of things.
Intense has already started up a Hellion, and with his kind of more defensive banner on this map, he'll be okay for a few seconds. The 2nd Reaper will reinforce with the Hellion, but it's more important about Kelazhur, his micro, and how he's going to be actually going around this. For now, this situation you don't often see. Intense was able to run him away, but now it's 2 Reapers attacking for Kelazhur. And Intense, he's got the Hellion. He's starting to get his tools, and really with that opening build, if you know your opponent's doing the build they're doing that 3-Rack Reaper, you can produce enough Hellions to push him
that
back.
Was very nicely done. Got some early shots off, but somehow Kelazhur still managed to trade 1 for 1. Hellions cannot jump off of cliffs, as cool as that would be. And going into a really fast Liberator, I like this. He's going to have a pretty strong tech advantage here against Kelazhur, who's gone for these 3 barracks in a row quite quickly and sinking a lot of money into the Reapers.
And Kelazhur has opted to start mixing in some Marines, but in theory, if he was one of those players, as he often does, who mixes in Reaper, 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 no Marines, that Liberator would get there completely uncontested. There'd be very little to do anything about it. But here are the Reapers moving in for Kelazhur. He has 5 in total to the 2 of Intense and the 3 Hellions. Hellions already coming along the right-hand side, almost looking for a sandwich effect on Kelazhur, but Kelazhur is not going to be baited into anything like that. He falls back. Just to note, both players do have their naturals, though, so really not that much damage has been done. They're just both choosing their respective tech paths and kind of not messing with each other.
Yeah, Kelazhur usually gets a lot done with his Reapers, but Intense is defended very nicely, and as such, he's in a pretty good spot. He's got a nice tech lead, and he's got a bit of a supply lead as well. Now, keep in mind that this is not over. Kelazhur is still going to be looking for some damage here and there. And interesting, Intense just finished up another Reaper. He had been building Reapers for quite some time, just being really, really, really safe, just trying to get as many units out as possible just in case. Very sharp react. Look at that.
It's in a perfect place right here.
My
SCV
God.
can't run in and try to make a missile turret. He can't pile them all on. The Marines are going to be unable to assault it, and for now, the main mineral line is not going to be mined out from Kelazhur.
Well, and the thing is, that was such a fast reaction, and also look at how precise it is. He boxed exactly the units that would have been hit by the Liberator.
But the Cyclone, the safety Cyclone, is going to be on the other side of the map to defend.
It is locked on. It's running off to the side of the map. Oh, the Cyclone just barely finishes that off. Excellently done there. The safety Cyclone, keeping you safe.
Kelazhur is saying, that is it. I got to be aggressive, but his Reapers cannot push into this. Intense is everything he needs to siege Jags Hellions. He's even been able to scout that.
He's just going to go right over the Reapers.
Yeah, he might as well just start microing it. That's the point where, like, okay, yeah, it's like poking the dead rabbit. Like, okay, well, what's going on over there?
Yeah, and he's even, I think he's chasing him down with the tank effect. He's just like, where are your Reapers?
He's going to believe, yep. Looks like the Reapers are going to be able to go around that tank and possibly jump up into the main, but Intense, he's got a siege tank in his main base ready. The Reapers are headed on into it, but right at the last second, the siege tank is actually moved. The Hellions, nothing's going to be able to get off its attack. The Reapers get out, and they will sustain a little bit of damage, but actually not too much. They kind of ran in, got their shots off, guerrilla warfare style, and left.
Yeah, really nice, and it's one of those things that you see with the stronger players in StarCraft. They'll get something done with a group of units, and they'll save them. They won't suicide them, and they won't go to that next level aggression that would trade out all of their forces.
Stim is on the way for both the players. Combat shields for Intense this time. In the previous TVT, we saw him forget it until the 9-ish minute mark. It's going to be very important to get for him. Neither player has any upgrades at all. Both players pumping it out, and really for now, it's this really cool TVT play we've seen in the majority of our games today of the TVT, where they're both posturing around the map, and they don't really engage, but they're just kind of feeling each other out. They're looking for angles. Generally, you don't find that angles because these players are so good, but at a lesser player, they find it and execute on them.
Absolutely, and at this point in time, it's pretty defensive play from both players. We got a lot of units beginning to stockpile up, and we're looking for that third base. Who is going to make the move? It's a game of chicken in a way. We're looking for that move. Who's going to build the third base first? Turrets coming down, lots of patrolling Marines we see there. Really trying to control what's going on. And these Reapers in the front, very frustrating, very annoying. Just getting, holding sway, basically, over that third base for a bit.
Incredibly annoying. If the Marines run down, they can KD8 charge them on the ram thing, do a lot. Even if the siege tanks drop
is it
down
a flank?
Them, but this may be perfect. There's the flank. The siege tanks trying to reposition so they can shell the Reapers as they jump down from the high ground. Looks like the siege tanks are going to not be able to do too much damage. Oh,
there it is.
The damage there. Only 2 Reapers left.
Finally.
Intense. He's not taking a third CC at that base. He's got one on the way, but he is moving out, and I love this attack. Generally, we've seen this come out of him a few times right when he gets the maximum. He get 4 siege tanks, some Hellions, some Marines, and at the 7:30-minute mark, he's going to move out and
it's going to
get
scouted.
Catch all 3 of these. It's going to be devastating
oh
for
my God.
Kelazhur.
Oh, wow. That has, just barely any health. Such a fast reaction from Kelazhur. Thank goodness for him. Thank Kelagod that he pulled that back in time, or that would have been absolutely devastating. This, I was going to say, this is a position that's pretty strong to siege up on if you want to go for it. Intense being very aggressive on the map right now.
Intense will be moving on to the left-hand side. He scanned and saw there was no third CC for Kelazhur, at least at the position. Both are making their third CC at this point. And Kelazhur is angling. Ooh, finding a very nice position. You got to remember, Kelazhur is the only one that's opted to go Viking, at least so far. It's a dangerous game, but on a map like this, where there's lots of high to low ground positions Marines can't traverse, you can get some good angles and push them off. But Intense looks like he's going to reposition, keep out on the outside, and keep the pressure on Kelazhur for a while. Not going to directly move in for now.
Yeah, he's going into that. I think he's up to 2 Vikings now, and building that up. It's one of those things where it taxes your starport a lot because you want to be building lots of tank
your
evac.
gas, even just for siege tanks.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have the no man's land set up. Both players able to take their thirds at this point in time. A little bit trickier for Kelazhur, maybe a little bit more scary, but he seems to have sectioned off this side of the map. Oh, and we do have Intense moving in now.
Intense this time is up in combat shields. There are no combat shields at all for Kelazhur.
Oh my God.
Intense does not want to run into that choke point, but he but he does push Kelazhur back. Kelazhur has a third siege yet. It's not landed. He's going to be unable to land that, and the siege tank can get up in time. Maybe Intense can stop this down, but one is instantly sniped. A second is sniped, and the third one is not sieged up, and the entire army of Intense is caught out of position. The medevacs fall back, and it looks like another army is here for Intense, but that was just crushed.
Oh, man. That was brutal, and that's why you never unsiege your tanks.
You tank
get more medevacs.
You leapfrog. Literally, like they are trained. They are pro leapfrog players right here.
Yeah,
pro
professional frogger players. They get across to the other side every time.
The one who loses doesn't get across. That's the frogger who fails.
Yeah.
He gets hit by the car.
Yeah. Or like, you just didn't quite get in the log, or you try to jump in between.
Jump in and like
that's the worst.
Two cars are going by and you're like ripped apart.
Or the very end where you're supposed to like jump into the gap and you like for some reason one pixel catches on the edge.
Man,
and
one pixel. One pixel has been the death of I think every video gamer in the history of the world.
Yep.
One pixel.
One pixel. Oh, nice quick drop there from Kelazhur. Does get the drop ahead of time, but many more. Oh, look at this.
Two just shuts this down.
Coming in from the side does get one of those drops down. It looks like Kelazhur's moving right into the natural with that.
Intense moving down from the right-hand side while Kelazhur looking to defend the third base. He's got a sensor tower up. He's feeling okay about the majority of things, but in Intense, he needs to start transferring some of those SCVs. He's got a ton of SCVs. He's actually currently at 65, a little bit too many for now, but he may be able to take a fourth CC. We'll see what happens next. He's committing into the
nice
attack.
Position over here, getting the siege up first, really controlling this third base location, cutting into the economy. In the meantime, we do have a drop. It seems to have been deflected rather quickly. That Viking, though, is being so frustrating.
Viking of Kelazhur is going to finally be killed by a couple Marines that drop down there, and that's one thing that once it's taken away, it's been a while, but that still affects him just a little bit in this situation. It's 5 siege tanks to 5 at the moment between Kelazhur and Intense. At the same time, we actually see a medevac drop of Kelazhur on the top right of just Marines being sent whatever way they can.
They're all over in the main. 18, 20 workers killed so many. Oh my god, this one drop has done so much damage to Intense.
One drop was 5 Marines, the other one was 3, and they just kind of ran in. They're like, oh, hey, here is an open base. Let's do damage. And Intense gets crushed in the bottom left. Finally, Kelazhur was able to secure that 30. Moves his CC over to the top left if he wants to. But on the other side of the map, the SCVs are pulled to deal with it. And now Intense has gone from a funny position of being actually up in workers to down roughly 10. And for now, with the bases, since Intense has a third CC, it will be about even economically, but he's still just on the edge. Kelazhur has taken so many phenomenal engagements.
Yeah. Intense, though, has a really strong army right now. If he can get something done with it, it would be fantastic. He doesn't know about the space on the left side of the map. You have to consider, what is my opponent going to do if I lock down their third base? Most of the time, you'll assume they'll retake it once they fight me back, but really nice move over here by Kelazhur, just going ahead and taking that base over on the left. It's probably not going to be scouted for quite some time.
It's something interesting I've seen Intense do quite often is taking, at least in this position, the base in the bottom right or the right middle and then pushing from there, so it kind of falls back on the defense. But here is his next push out. It is 4 siege tanks with this main army of Intense to, I think, 5 or 6 with the main army of Kelazhur. He's got the defender's advantage, so he's also got a little bit of the siege tank advantage. And here's a huge concave for Intense, but he stims, realizes it's not worth it. He cannot do it. It was within a pixel. That was the 1 pixel right there.
Very nicely done.
And I love how Kelazhur still just got this base up in the top left-hand corner. Intense is like, nah, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. He couldn't do that.
Here we go. He's getting ready. The tank-evacs are in position. And I believe we have a pretty big tank-evac league here for Intense.
Oh, this may be the opportunity for Intense to jump up into the third base. He's not quite going to do it, though. The Marines push forward. They realize that they have to fall back. I think they could have got a kill right there. The medevac of Intense is going to give a little bit more vision for him to shell onto Kelazhur. However, Kelazhur, he's got the air control like he has in a lot of these, and that has spelled the difference in a couple of these engagements.
Yeah, and he's really on top of his upgrades as well. Intense beginning to fall behind in a serious way in these upgrades, and again, he has this huge army. His army is so much bigger than Kelazhur's right now. If he only knew about that base on the left side of the map, he'd be able to do something about it.
Even with that army really just increase for Intense. He's got a nice lead on that. Still,
Oh,
Kelazhur, he's got a much
damage
better
coming
upgrade,
in.
and he's going to run into this, and these Marines by themselves may be able to stop the Marines of Intense. Even with SCVs pulled, the Marines of Kelazhur are at 2-1 to the 1-0 of Intense. Intense pushes in to try to stop this. The SCVs are going down left and right. 20 workers killed. The Marines of Kelazhur actually win through that, but at the same time, in the bottom left middle, we see the posturing of both armies. And it looks like no one's going to quite engage. But even with that, those Marines with a very slight upgrade lead, 2-2 to 1-1, are able to take so many kills.
Oh, splitting up here, using some of the tanks in tank mode, trying to take out the tanks of Kelazhur, but this is not going well for him.
Kelazhur in on orbital shipyard. This is almost the best defender's advantage you could ask for siege tanks against Marines. They can't stim up that. They can't jump up like Reapers. And Kelazhur is another successful defense, but at the same time,
there's a huge drop in the main. Oh my god, I was wondering, where the heck is all his army supply? It's in the main. He's like, all right, I've been dropped enough. It's time for me to drop you a bit. And Kelazhur, uncharacteristically, a little bit late on the pickup and the drop. Really nice moves over here.
He's fighting with 3-2 Marines to the 1-1 of Intense, though. Kelazhur, this is a phenomenal upgrade lead in Intense. He's trying to desperately get damage done. The sign of the Great Terrans, you're going to push left, push right, and just throw your stuff all over the place. That's both these players are doing. However, the basic Marines, the basic stuff of Kelazhur is able to push back Intense. And now we're going to see, like, if we look at units lost, Kelazhur is just in a great position overall in pretty much every aspect of the game.
Can we check vision? Does he still not see that base? Does he not know it?
He has not scouted it ever on that left-hand side.
I mean, like, he's got to start figuring out at one point, but for the time being, he feels like, oh, I've got my opponent on 2 bases. I'm in the lead.
Yeah,
I'm totally okay.
I just got to hold, be okay, not lose too much. Even if you have the upgrade lead, exactly, he's going to be able to hold on to that. But I don't know if he can really hold on that.
Yeah.
He's going to start to fail.
Yeah, the only advantage that Intense has had through the majority of this game is an army supply lead, and he's finally lost that advantage. He's behind in workers, he's behind in economy, he's behind in pretty much any way possible. It's all going to be about positioning here, getting into the right spot. He's going to have to catch him off guard if he wants to take down the Kelagod.
Kelazhur moving into the third base. His siege tanks get straight on top of Intense. Intense only has 2 siege tanks and SCVs for the defense, but the entire army of Kelazhur is attacking the third base. They're going to wreck it at the same time. Looks like Kelazhur is actually going to fall back with his Marines not getting into medevacs. He selected his entire army right there for the defense of Intense's drop, and at the same time, just all over the place right here.
Oh man, move command on that tank. He's having a lot of trouble here, and both players basically on top of each other's production. And immediate lift, getting really comfortable, and base trade scenario goes absolutely to Kelazhur in this position.
Definitely 70 army supply of Kelazhur to the 40 of Intense. Kelazhur has an incredibly strong foothold into this main base, and as you said, right on top of the production, there's nothing being made that could delay for a few seconds. Intense is trying to get the kills, but again, 3-2 Marines of Kelazhur to the 1-1 of Intense.
Yeah, if we can take a look at the units. Right now, we do have a significant lead for Kelazhur on all possible
siege
fronts.
Tanks, Vikings, Marines, SCVs, medevacs, everything is in his favor. GG! Kelazhur takes game 1, and even that small army lead you were talking about earlier on, that Intense manages to acquire really stemmed from the very beginning. You know, you got some quicker Marines, etc. While Kelazhur was worrying about other things, worrying about the Liberator and defending that, but just wasn't able to do much. Kelazhur shut him down in a great game.
Kelazhur did a really great job of adapting to that situation and saying, all right, this position is locked down for me. What am I going to do? I'm going to take this base over to the side, and it paid off huge. Absolutely gigantic. And despite the fact that it was 3 base versus 3 base, it was 3 base versus my opponent thinks I have 2 base, which is a big difference.
Not only that, but we had multiple drops from Kelazhur against Intense, and they were scrappy little drops.
Man.
3 Marines, 4 Marines, 5 Marines, and they just picked off so many workers. One of them even had 25 workers killed.
Yeah, the 20. I think that was a really big turning point.
Those straight up 3 Marines.
Yeah,
3-2 Marines.
It was just at the right place at the right time, and that's what the thing you sort of poking and prodding, feeling out your opponent, and then finally you hit the weak area, and that's it.
And I feel like TVT, it often is kind of this TVT star sense of, oh, I'm going to scan right here, and oh, you happen to be there. Just these great senses for both players of scanning, seeing the army, moving my army, oh, it's going to move to the right-hand side, and catching medevac drops out of position. A lot of it, it's truly experience. It's experience for these players. Both are incredibly experienced, too. But Kelazhur is up 1-0, and as we mentioned before, Jack, the winner of this gets at least $500 and a chance at $1,000. Loser, $300. It's the difference between $300, $500, and possibly even $1,000.
Yep, that's definitely it. A lot of these players wanting to really push it forward. And Intense, though he did say, sort of cheekily at the end, like, have fun in the finals kind of a thing. He's really on a roll right now. He's very confident. He's, going to play his absolute best. He's a player that can 100% take down Kelazhur in a best of 3. This is by no means anywhere near the end.
And he's got great TVT.
I think the problem, though, we're playing on Central Protocol. Probably the only other map that is as strong for Reapers as Orbital Shipyard, and Kelazhur are going to come in. Now,
I might argue even stronger.
I think I would have to agree. Yeah, this may be the strongest Reaper map. But if we think about last game, it wasn't really the Reaper play that won him the game. It was the harassment and then going ahead and taking that base.
That's what I was saying. It wasn't like super committed. It was just kind of like, okay, I'll throw some Marines there. It was the star sense of, I don't think you're there, and you're not going to be able to be there anytime soon.
Yeah, the tactics and the positioning, very powerful.
Great tactics.
Absolutely. We are moving directly into our game, spawning in the bottom left. Ooh, oh my god, these positions. It's the blue Terran Intense.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, the red Terran, up 1-0, Kelazhur. As you said with these spawn positions, my oh my, we could have some Banshees coming in any sort of drops. The horizontal spawn positions are just phenomenal for any air attacks at all if we see them out of these players. And hey, if we had last game, but they were this close, Medevacs would be going all the time through that. That's where the one Viking would camp out. And like this is he's got his back to a wall, he's camping, and everyone's like, oh, screw you, Viking.
And don't forget, Reapers.
Reapers.
We have a very fast 2 gas here from Kelazhur. Oh, wait, he's only on 1 barracks, though.
And at the same time,
this is
for Intense adding on a quick second Rax. He could go up to a 3 Rax Reaper if he wants to cheese Kelazhur, and he's already got it queued up to the right-hand side. That is Intense. We will see what comes out of there for him.
So, quick 2 gas over here for Kelazhur.
Banshee, maybe. He could do Banshee right here. He could be feeling the horizontal spawn positions.
Yeah, neither of them know that this is the case right now. It's really interesting on a map like this that Kelazhur not going for the Reaper play, and we'll see if it ends up biting him.
Well, let's say that it was cross-spawn positions. He could deem it just a little bit too far to be able to execute Reaper play and actually do any damage at all. Something of the sorts like that. He's being careful on this map and maybe even just switch it up.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He's mining quite a bit of gas here, so he's going to have to sink that into something relatively soon. We'll probably see Hellions coming out. The Reapers help, but it's not a whole lot of gas expenditure. Just 1 Reaper from 1 barracks because they take so long to build.
And really with a Banshee fast expand, or pardon me, Banshee, you really, if you're going for that, can pump out the Reaper anyways earlier on. You got the gas for it. You have the starport on the way for Kelazhur while he sends over his first Reaper to Intense's side of the map. Intense is going to take a little bit of damage from that KD8 charge, but I think he's going to be fine with that. He's going to be able to push back Kelazhur. A second Reaper is on the way, and we have a 3 Rax Reaper versus a Banshee player. In these spawn positions, it's going to be dicey for either player.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to control here. Things are looking, I think, pretty good for Kelazhur reading the fast Reaper play from Intense.
And with the quick factory, you can get a Hellion. Really, there's a lot of plays that can at least have the opportunity to push back the 3 Rax Reaper.
Yep, going for the Liberator, one advantage of going for Liberator as opposed to the Banshee is you don't have to build that tech lab so it can come out even faster. And you can see that Intense, yeah, you have Intense here who, it was so weird, Intense is not the Reaper player. I got
yeah, no.
In the
beginning we were thinking, oh, like 2 Rax Reaper, it's Kelazhur. Kelazhur's blue. Like, oh, wait, no, he's not that. But Kelazhur has made 2 Reapers and the Hellion, and he's going to take a little bit of decisive battle here at the front. He won't be able to get that Hellion, but the Reapers can go back around or do something. At least it's delaying the Reapers of Intense.
Yeah, I don't think he needs as many Reapers to be over there, but catching these stray Reapers out, I think you get just 1 of them. I don't know. He seems to be missing, I think, his opportunity to deal damage. The longer this goes on, the better it is.
The window is just turning into a hole. He does not have that window of opportunity. He's pushing across the map, and with all that delay, he's allowed the Liberator with huge amounts of airspace in the south part of this map, in the bottom left, to get into a nice position for Kelazhur.
You're going to keep in mind, too, that he's only 1 game away from being out of this tournament, so he's got to make it happen this game.
Reaper's looking to head on in. There's 4 Hellions for Kelazhur. He is ready, but because of his wall, he actually cannot protect that. The Hellions won't quite get that far, and the door is open for Intense. Does he want to go through that choke point? Looks like for now he's going to KD8 charge it down while Intense. He's mining nothing back at home. That is 0. He's got a natural base up, but no mining at all. Kelazhur's going to be reinforcing with Hellions, with a Liberator to start shutting down locations with, as I said, he's got nothing to fall back to reinforce with back at home.
Yeah, this is really difficult situation. He's moving in. It's all about the control, the Reaper bombs. He's coming in. He's getting a lot of damage dealt. Some Reaper bombs going off against him. Pulling the workers now. Kelazhur is doing everything he can to hold this off. He's got the tech advantage if he can hold this attack. He has lost, however, quite a few workers, even if all these Reapers go down, which I'm sure they will. 17 workers killed is
There's the defense.
Huge.
GG! Kelazhur 2-0 moves on to the winners match. And this was the winners match of the winners bracket. We also saw Kelazhur versus Huck. He's going to move on to play Huck.
That's right. Kelazhur will be rematching Huck in the grand finals. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with double elimination tournament, the way that it works is because Kelazhur is coming from the bottom of the bracket, he has to win 2 best-of-5s to come out the champion. But since Huck is coming from the top of the bracket, he only needs to win 1. And that's because in double elimination, everybody gets 2 lives. And Huck hasn't used either of his lives up yet.
Neither of them. These players will be fighting for $1,000. 500 second place, but my oh my, $1,000 is so much sweeter. Huck is close to doing it too.
Yep, double your money.
We're going to have an interview, I believe, with Kelazhur.
Yes, indeed.
Quite shortly, the winner of the last match, and we'll see you then.
This Halloween, the Impaler returns. Vlad 2 from Joshua Morse.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Cheesadelphia number 2. I'm here again with Kelazhur. How are you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. This last series was much closer than I thought it would be. Intense played really well, and I'm glad it went out like that. And feeling pretty good.
Yeah. So talk to me about your build order strategy in the second game. Central Protocol, is that something you usually go for the faster star part on, or were you just expecting that Intense would assume you were going for like a Reaper play?
No, actually, well, Intense told me it was kind of a YOLO build, that he never did it before, but someone told him to do it, and it was working out really well. He, if he had pounced on the opportunity, that when he killed my reinforcements, if he had gone into my main with the Reapers, I think he could have won even. So unfortunately for him, he let the opportunity slip, and I just took.
That's all it takes, just a couple of moments, and your opportunity closes off, and Kelazhur moves on, and you don't. Unfortunate situations do happen, but, you know, great job to Intense. Congratulations to him, of course. Let's talk about your condition moving into it. It's been a long day, a lot of games going on. How do you feel from a physical perspective? Are you tired? Are you focused?
Yeah, playing tons of games like this is very tiresome, especially in tournament games where you have to be 100% focused and giving your all. It's not like just a ladder game where if you lose, you
no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah. So yeah, you have to give your all, and I know I'm playing as much games as I do ladder games in one day, so you can get the idea of how tired I am right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, best of luck in the finals. It will be against Huck. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We have the absolute best, the rematch, coming on up here at Cheesadelphia #2. We'll see you in just a bit.